Hello, Garage Army, and welcome to Garage Geek. I hope everybody had a nice week. Oh, this is not looking good on camera. I hope everyone had a nice week. And even though I had 4 days at work, because we had Monday off, the 4 day weeks seem weird because they seem longer. One of the reasons was that every day we came back, it seemed like there were a lot of people sick at work. And so I was covering classes every day. And of course, that makes the day a little bit longer, right? Because you're going from class to class to class without a break. But most of the classes I covered, they were sixth grade classes, and I teach seventh, so the sixth graders are younger, and not always, but the classes that I covered, the kids were so cute, young. They haven't learned from everyone else at school how to be really bad yet, so they were kind of fun classes to cover. I did not do much this week, and there's a reason why. Oh, wait, I want to show you why. So what does it look like back there? I don't know. I'll see it later. So I've been playing my God of War game, and when I go into game mode, it's kind of like I spend so many hours on these games. I love recently that PlayStation, they've been doing reversible cover art. I really like the reverse art way more. So that is the cover of God of War Ragnarok, and this is the reversible cover. I love that. Even though I don't keep the cases, I get rid of the cases after a while, but it's still really nice to have this reversible art. So anyways, I'm really enjoying this game. It is challenging. I don't put it on easy when I play, but I don't put it on the super difficult. I put it on the, I guess you would call like the normal game mode. And yeah, like some of the bosses that I've come across, it's taken me quite a while to beat. So yeah, I'm enjoying God of War. But as I was saying, when I play a video game, it's like I don't get much else done. So I haven't, really read any books or watched any movies. I did watch one movie this week, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about that. Let me grab my iPad because I actually, I'm all over the place right now. I actually have visual aids for one movie. I downloaded one picture, but hey, since I did it, I'm going to go ahead and show it. So that movie was a Netflix movie called Society of the Snow. Now, let me get the picture before I keep going. Here it is. So Society of the Snow is, based on true events. It's been made into movies before, but as people have talked about online, an earlier movie of this was called Alive. And but this movie is taken from different source material, so supposedly it's given some different perspectives. Like I saw Alive years and years ago, and I didn't rewatch it to kind of compare. But I mean, it's gonna be the same, right? Like most of the details are gonna be the same, even if you're getting a different perspective. Sorry if there's spoilers because this is an actual it's based on true events, so they survive, right? We learn this, and we know that they resort to cannibalism. And that I remembered one of the this is what I remembered pretty much one thing from the first movie, and that's one of the guys who is unconscious for the first 3 days. He's one of the ones who actually helps them get out of the situation by walking out of the mountains and finding someone. So I actually remembered that. I like, oh, that guy's unconscious. He's going to be, one of the most important ones. 'Cause I just remembered it from the movie from all those years ago. Was this movie good? Yes. But with a caveat, the plane crash scene had me cringing. It was so gross. Like, I mean, I was like literally going, like my dog's looking at me. Like, it's brutal. I talked with my friend about it, and she's like, I had to turn it off at the plane crash scene because I just couldn't make it through it. It's that bad. I was like, wow. anything to do with ankles, I don't know why. Like there's the Evil Dead movie where they take a pencil and they like jam it into an ankle and go like this. Man, I cannot stomach that scene. Something about ankles. I don't know why. I can't take it, but man, that plane scene has an ankle scene that just grossed me out to no end. I mean, it's not that I don't like looking at ankles. Don't get me wrong. I don't. Seeing ankles snap or be violated for some reason. Okay, this is sounding weird. I don't have an ankle fetish. Just something about seeing ankles snap. It's so gross. Anyways, that plane crash scene is hard to stomach. Man, and they did it right because that's a harrowing, situation that they were in, to go through the plane crash and then have to survive. I think it was like 70 or 80 days. And of course all the cannibalism stuff. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat, I don't see what's so wrong with cannibalism when you need to survive. It's like, I don't see the big deal. Of course, it's bad if you knew someone, like, you have to like get over that. But if it's a matter of survival, it was an interesting point in the movie that the people started, like, they were debating it, of course. And there was a really good scene in the movie where they're debating, the pros and cons, like, should we do it morally? Yes, no. And then they're like, well, it's just like being an organ donor. And one of them says, yeah, but if you're going to be an organ donor, you have to give your consent. And it was interesting, from then on in the movie, like when some of them were getting close to death, they would say, you have my consent to use my body. It was really interesting. I recommend this movie a lot, but like that scene, like that plane crash scene, was brutal to get through. So just with a caveat, like if you like horror movies, you'll like that scene, even though this is not a horror movie. Yeah, it was brutal. It was difficult to get through that scene. Like my husband was probably like freaked out because I was next to him going, ah. Okay, enough about snapped ankles and terrible plane crash scenes. I've seen quite a few plane crash movies, and like this was one of the most harrowing plane crash scenes that I've seen, I think. All right, so I talked about God of War and Society of the Snow. I did read a comic and a half, so one comic and a half this week. So I'm gonna talk about this. I did show this last time. So I have a lot of Gold Key comics, and oh, you probably got a close up of my hair. Like I'm going bald up here. I have a lot of Gold Key comics, and I haven't read any of them. I buy them for the covers, and so I said to myself, you got to start reading some of these. And so this is like, I think, might be, besides some of the comic book ones, like from the serious Gold Key with the painted covers, this is, I think, the first one I read. And so this is the UFO flying saucers, and it's not a story, it's actual real, like, reported cases of people who have supposedly seen flying saucers. So each one is like a page or two, some of them 3, and they're just like, accounts. And it was interesting. It was like watching one of those shows where they like reenact, like they'll describe it and then they'll have actors reenacting the scene and making it come to life. So basically that's what they're just, putting it in cartoon form, and it's just story after story of different news events, or not news events, of reports of people having contact with flying saucers. And it was actually an enjoyable read. I'm trying to just go through this very fast to see if there's anything interesting. The art wasn't bad. It was decent. Yeah. Okay, here's some ones where they were like, this guy goes around debunking different reports and telling what happened. So all in all, this is a very entertaining this is kind of like a news comic, right? Not a story, but just telling news. So for my first gold key, I was pretty impressed. I enjoyed it. I also started reading where is it? A Goofy comic. Oh, here it is. Which I don't think I've ever read a Goofy comic before. And this one is a 10 center. I just love these old 10 centers. This one, I really would love to get a comic press, because I think this would look much better if it got pressed, right, to get rid of all these wrinkles. But for a 10 center, it looks really nice. Now, unfortunately, this one has a lot of, Native American stereotypes in it. But it's actually really funny. Sorry, racism isn't supposed to be funny. I'm not saying the racism is funny, but like the Goofy comic is funny. So he's like crawling through the woods, and it turns out that for miles he's been crawling parallel to the stream. I mean, just stupid stuff like that makes you laugh. And then this woodsman, he is carrying Goofy to the next outpost because he's so tired from crawling along. And then he's like, oh, and yay, now I can get my rock collection. So the whole time he's been carrying all these rocks. Okay, this sounds dumb, but it's kind of fun. Yeah, and there's just like, here we go, we have like the Native American stereotypes and the way they talk. Me want 'em this and me go 'em like that. So yeah, but like, it's hard to say, oh, I'm never going to read this because of I mean, it wasn't right, but that was what was going on at the time. So is that like bad to justify it? I don't know. I'm still going to keep reading, even though they have the racial stuff in them. And I was actually laughing. Is that like non-PC? Like, it's actually funny, but not because of the racism, but because Goofy is Goofy. So I enjoyed my first story from my first Goofy comic, a 10 center. What year was that? Let me see. This is from 1960. Yeah, I have to go like that because the print it's like right there. It's so tall, so tiny. 1960. So you got two Dells, my first Serious Gold Key comic. I finished the Fantastic Four, and I finished the Gwen, Spider-Gwen. And so now I'm going to be working on the Amazing Spider-Man. I actually was in the middle of this one, so I don't have much more to read for this one, because like I said, I am trying to make more of an effort to read the epics that I bought. But I am going to switch gears now, and instead of reading an epic, I have to jump into, which is a great segue, I'm going to jump into this weekend to the She-Hulk, right? So this is a reminder of my live stream. Drat! I'm so mad. I'm looking around real fast because I forgot to show a skull last week to support Guz69. And right before this, I was thinking, okay, you got to find a skull. And of course, then I didn't. Wait, the Death's Head. I'm a liar. This is crazy. Right next to me is the soundtrack to the Silence of the Lambs put out by Mondo. I don't have many of these, but look at the Death's Head moth. There's a skull on it. How fortuitous. I did not plan that. Wow. So there you go, Guz69. I'm trying to support you. Love Guz69. Remember, he's doing a blog where he's showing a skull a day, and he's using vinyl, and I was able to use vinyl too. That's pretty cool. So back to this. So remember, I'm having a live stream. I think it's like either 1 or 2 weeks. It's like the end of January, like the 26th or something, or the 29th. I don't know. So I'm having a live stream, and I'm going to be discussing 4 items. So one of them I'm going to discuss is the She-Hulk by Mariko Tamaki. This was very well received when it was published, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. I've read a couple of She-Hulk volumes before this, and they were actually really good. So I like what they've been doing with the character throughout as I've read it. I love what John Byrne did with the character. So let's see if Marco Tamaki can keep it going. Along with those three, we're going to be discussing the film M by Fritz Lang. So I'll watch that closer to when the live stream is. But I've been dipping into Brian Eno's Ambient 1. And not only have I been listening to this, but I listened to Ambient 2. I hope to listen to Ambient 3 and 4. I've been listening to them kind of on repeat. And then I also started listening to a response to this, Real Music for Airports, I think it's what it's called. And it's a group's response to this album. So, I mean, I'll have notes on all that when we do the live stream. And then this weekend, I really need to jump into this book Rat, because I don't want to leave it for the last minute, because I really need to make headway on it. It's not long at all. It's 150 pages, but I do not want to leave it to the last minute. Oh, that reminds me, I finished a book, which I didn't talk about it, but I want to. But the thing is, I didn't get the picture of it. I'll get it right now. It was called The Vaster Wilds by Lauren Gruff. I'm going to look that up right now to give you a visual. Sorry, I should be on the ball when it comes to this. So let me go ahead and look that up. Okay, I can't click on the internet for some reason. All right, so it's called The Vaster Wilds by Lauren Groff, not Gruff, Groff. So here we go, image. So this book has two covers. So this one, I heard about this from, oh my gosh, I'm so bad with names, but there's a YouTuber in England. What's his name? Darn. I'll put a link to his video below. Like, he reviewed this. It was a great review. He really liked it. So I decided to go ahead and listen to it, and I'm glad I did. So he was showing this book, the cover, because I guess that's the cover, either the hardcover or the one they have in England. And then I listened to it, and that's the cover I had in link. So, The Vaster Wilds is about a young girl. For reasons we don't know till later, she has to escape a fort, so it's taking place in the past, and she's basically on the run, and she's alone in the wilderness. And it's not like today. It's like, back when there were, forts and settlements and, tribes of Native Americans that she has to try to skirt, right? Because she, for whatever reason, she doesn't want to be seen or caught. Because she's not sure, being a woman alone, how anyone is going to treat her. In fact, that's one of the points in the book that is brought up repeatedly, like, the treatment of women and women alone. So she's on the run, and she has to try to survive alone in the wilderness. And it's quite harrowing, right? Because, she's starving, and it's the middle of winter. And so, she can't find warm places to sleep. Her body's decaying. For example, there's a nail in her boot that is sticking up, and that's hurting her foot. It's just like all these things. It's a very harrowing, plight that this girl is in. But a lot of it is, as she's running, we're getting her thoughts about her life, and we're kind of going back and revisiting parts of her life. Because she'll have fever, and she'll be in dream states or whatever. By the end, we really do get some really harrowing. I'm using that word a lot tonight. Like, she goes through a lot. This poor girl goes through a lot, which forces her to escape. And what was going on at the fort was not pleasant. I don't want to give everything away, but there's kind of a theme running through a couple of things that I'm talking about tonight. So, you might be able to imagine, what was going on at the time, like plague and way worse. So, yeah, this book is very internal, and but also describing her plight, like where she's trying to sleep, who she's trying to avoid, animals that she's coming across, that how she tries to, stay alive, what she can eat. I really enjoyed this book. Now, I heard two people talk about recently, grad school or creative writing class type of writing. I don't know why, but I seem immune to this. Like, I don't latch onto this. Um, a friend of mine, she read another book by this writer, and she's like, after about 100 pages, I couldn't put up with it anymore. It was like too, like, forced. Like, the style is like trying, not coming naturally, just, too overworked, overwritten. And actually, that book was called Matrix, and it's about a medieval nun. And Lauren Groff is supposedly writing three books, like a trilogy, but they're loosely related about women throughout different time periods. And so I actually went ahead and got Matrix. So it's interesting to kind of see if I can pick up on that idea of that writing. So I think the other person who mentioned it recently was Sleepy Reader, and in a totally different context, which reminds me, so I don't forget, right? So Sleepy Reader, I didn't know he's a published author. I was like, wow, that always really impresses me. And he was visiting his mom in Connecticut, and he actually got stuck there. They were like snowed in. So he got to spend more time with his mom, which I thought was really cool. But he was sending me some pictures because his mom has some of his published stories in like science fiction, Asimov's science fiction magazines. And then there was another book, I think, called Universe One, where they published one of his short stories. And I was like, whoa, I'm always impressed about that. Like another YouTuber that I kind of know right now is All Sorts of Words, and he published, I think, one book, and he has another on the way. And I just find that very impressive when people become published. So I was like, wow, that is so cool. So he sent me a link to one of his online stories, and I read it, and I really enjoyed it. It was more fantasy than my taste, which nothing against, his writing. It's just I'm not big into fantasy, but I enjoyed the story. So it was it had dragons, and it had giant spiders, and it had portals between realms, and it had an emotional core about, heartbreak and loss, and I ended up really enjoying it, and I was very pleasantly surprised. So I hope that I can track down some of the publications that Sleepy Reader has been published in, so I can read some more of his stuff. So that was really interesting. So back to the Lauren Groff book. So I'm looking forward to reading The Matrix, and I'm going to be like on the alert for this, on the lookout for this supposedly writerly quality, like creative writing, class writing. I don't know. I've heard about this from many people, but for some reason I must be like, I don't find it, and I'm like immune to it or something. Man, too dumb to pick up on it. All right. That was basically all I had for you tonight. So I was lamenting, like, oh my goodness, do I have enough to talk about? I mean, of course I can talk and talk and talk, but do I have substance? And I was so happy because when I came home today, there was an Amazon package. I had put in an order, and it arrived, and I'm like, yay, I have something to show. So, hey, Angel Honey. So the reason I made this Amazon package was this. Let me show you. This. So, oh, look how shiny that is. I have been waiting and waiting and waiting for this. This was supposed to come in my DCBS order. For the last, I went ahead and ordered this, 5 months ago. For the last month or two, I've been waiting for it to come. Other people have been getting it. And so they finally sent me an email saying, oh, because of lack of stock, we can't send you this after it's already been out. And I was kind of a little bit miffed. I mean, okay, it's a business and whatever, but I pre-ordered it 3 months in advance. Doesn't that mean you should be able to get enough stock? You know how many people pre-order it, so you go ahead and order. Now, the only thing I could think of is that the company all of a sudden told them, well, we can't send you that many. Like, I don't know. Like, how could it be the fact that they didn't order enough when everything's pre-ordered? That one gave me like a little bit of a warning bell, because recently for DCBS, a lot of things haven't been coming through, and they have always been so reliable. Now, this is something I did not want to miss out on, because the Martini editions, which I didn't even know about back then, they're out of print, and so they go for at least $60-$70 each minimum, right? And so this was for $44 on DCBS. And so when they sent me the email, I was like, you know what? You got to bite the bullet and you got to buy it from Amazon, because I really, really wanted to read this. Number one, I'm getting into Darwin Cook. And number two, if you've been watching my show for a while, you know that I've been all over these Parker novels. They are amazing. And in fact, I got to get the next one in the series. I've loved every one of them. So there was no way that I was going to miss out on this compendium. And so I had to pay more. I actually had to pay $55, I think. But, the original price is $70. So like Larry's Library, he always says, like, you're a chump if you pay full price. But I should have paid less. But I wasn't going to let $10 stop me from owning this, because I really, really wanted it. So I am so looking forward to reading this. I'm very, very happy that I finally have this. It's IDW, and I'm just thrilled that I'm finally holding this in my hot paws. So because I ordered that, I went ahead and ordered a couple of other things. The next thing that I ordered was because of Gary, the Casual Comic. Keep it cash. Now, I'm actually going to be a guest on his show in February, 2 shows. I'm kind of nervous about that, because I'm not that interesting to build a show around me. So I'm kind of like, oh my gosh. And those people on there are like almost professionals. They know everything about comics, and I'm just like going on there, hey, I don't know. But he's been showing, not only does he show a lot of Conan, which I love, he's also been showing cards. He does shorts. He tries to do a short a day, I think. And he's also been showing the Marvel Value Stamps calendar. And I had put this on my list to buy. And when I saw him posting, I was like, oh, I need to buy this. I didn't care that the year already started, because I'm not going to destroy this. This, if you go ahead and look at it, it is a stamp per day. And also, they'll show the covers and the comics that it comes from. I'm sorry, but this is gorgeous. Along with that, I went ahead and I bought this book, The Marvel Value Stamps of Visual History. And this book is way cooler than I expected. Like, it's got all the letter pages, and it's got every issue that it came from. It's got the value stamps. I mean, this thing is cool. And so I'm really glad that I bought this. So this was $30 brand new. So I think I paid $21. I mean, that's not a bad price for a really nice book, especially when it's got all this comic book goodness inside of it. Wow, this thing is gorgeous. And I think, what did I pay for this? Like, this one was, I think, $17.99. So I think I paid $12 or $13 for it. This is, you can skip this. I can't, because, I mean, come on, this is, that's so cool. But I mean, this is skippable, but this is really nice. I recommend this. And then 2 more things that I got in my package. So I got The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. I bought the first one, and I was not going to buy the second one until I read the first one. But then I thought, well, what if it goes out of print? I had one of these Larry's Library FOMO moments. I'm like, the art is so cool. The book is so nice. Just go ahead and buy it. So I did. And then the last thing that I bought was Samuel R. Delaney's The Fall of the Towers. Now, this is his first 3 published novels, I believe, and put into one anthology. So I kind of want to delve into Samuel R. Delany more, and I thought, why not start at the beginning? Now, one thing I'm disappointed about is, like, look at the colors on this. So gorgeous, right? These editions are, even for paperbacks, they're beautiful, but it came all dinged up. And I'm like, I'm not going to send it back for that. But, when you buy something new, you want it to arrive nice. But with Amazon, it's always like a crapshoot. So I'm lucky nothing else got dinged up more than that. But I'm just like, I want to take like red magic marker, color it all in. But I am really looking forward to reading this. Samuel Delany. There's a picture of him. Especially after reading the biography that I talked about, I think last week, was it? Which is called The Motion of Light on Water. It was a really interesting and very graphic about sex, which, I'm happy. That's a good thing in my opinion. So he really speaks frankly about sex and the sex in his life, and publishing and living in New York, which anyways, I talked all about that last week. So that's what I got. Is there anything else to show? No. So that's it. Ooh, 31 minutes. So this is Garage Geek signing out, saying sayonara to my garage army. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Thanks for all the support.